Well, day one of competition in the new ISU World Cup speed skating season was a good start for the hosts, with Japan coming away with a pair of gold medals, and American Jordan Stolz also added to his growing legend with a pair of gold medals of his own. Today, he goes for more, and Miho Takagi will try to pick up a second gold medal in as many days. Will the favorites prevail, or are we in for a surprise? A whole lot on the way on the second day of competition from Nagano. Hi everybody, Gavin Day here. Happy to guide things through a second day of action here at the M-Wave in Nagano. You just saw the schedule. We'll get to more on the ice in just a little bit, but first, let's take a look around at Nagano, the home of the 1998 Olympics. Looks good for me. I'm a big fan of ramen myself. Let's take a look inside the M-Wave in Nagano. Women's 3,000 meters, men's 5,000 meters, and then the 1,000 meters, changing things up quite a little bit. Lots to talk about from yesterday, as I mentioned. Miho Takagi taking gold for the first time this season. What will, likely be the first of many this season. And then over on the men's side, Jordan Stolz, 2 races, 2 wins, trying to go 3 for 3 today. And we can still talk about it a little bit. Could he go the season unbeaten? Could he run the table? A week ago at the Four Continents, he went 3 for 3. He's 3 for 3 here. He was 3 for 3 at the World Single Distances last season in Calgary. What more can you say about that young man from the United States? But action getting going is just a little bit from inside the M-Wave, and I'll be back with you for the start of the races.
In 2 minutes, we'll be starting the first competition this afternoon. Women's 3,000 meter race for Division A skaters. The first pairs, Yuka Takahashi and Mei Han, please get ready.
競技開始2分前です。女子 3000m の1組に出場する選手はご準備ください。
Look at the start list for the women's 3,000 meters. 8 pairs, 16 skaters. A lot of the heavy hitters will, of course, come later on in the seeded rounds. Irene Sauten, the world champion, is not here. Of course, she retired in the off-season. She is pregnant as well. So already transitioning into a new life is the woman who went out on top last season in Calgary. You see the first pair coming up. There they are. On the inner lane is Yuka Takahashi of Japan and Han Mei
is Yuka Takahashi of Japan. On the outer lane is Mei Han of China.
Go to the start. Ready.
And the first race underway in the women's 3,000 meters, the A division. The B division was held earlier this morning, and what's interesting is that after the women's or the men's 1,000-meter ends, they will do the 1,000 meters for the B division. Of course, we won't see that. We just get the A divisions here. And it is Takahashi, the 22-year-old, Han, the 26-year-old. Han from Hohat in Inner Mongolia, rather. That's in the north of China. If we are handicapping this race, just watch out for a fast start from Han Mei. Really a skater who does a lot of 1,000s and 1,500 meters as well. So she will likely get off to a fast start, and indeed she is the leader by a half a second here. A lot of women skaters these days doing this 3,000 meters. Someone's pointed out the trend to me that a lot of them now get off to a fast start and then just try to hang on. In the distance events, oftentimes it's consistency and who can keep a flat race without losing too much time that finding big success. But now a lot of them go out harder and just try to hang on ahead of the ones who maybe pace themselves a little bit more. So Han Mei is someone who has done 1,000s and 1,500s, expecting that fast start as well. A nice draft into that corner a little bit. And the inner from Takahashi. Takahashi was 16th in this distance at the World Single Distances in Calgary at the end of last season. Also, could see her in the mass start tomorrow. Also, the team pursuit possibility. Takahashi does a bit of everything. She's done some 1500s, team pursuits, mass start as well. She was 10th in the mass start at the World Championships last year. Of course, tomorrow is really the day for, there will be the second 500, and then there's all the other ones as well, with the mixed gender relay also coming back for another season tomorrow. Remember the mixed gender relay getting things going for the first time last season. And it's Han up by almost a second and a half. See how well she can hang on. Check the lap time, see how consistent she is. She's dipped a little bit. We did see a 33.3 lap time on the lap board last time on May. 33.15 there. She's almost 2.5 seconds to the good. Just point out here, Miho Takagi has the track record 3:59.81. Han, her personal best is under that time, but it would take some doing to beat that track record. 400 meters to go. There is the bell. Han Mei dipping to a 33.7 lap time. Her own personal best 3:58.76. Going over the top on that last crossover. We'll get into the inner lane. And Han Mei is going to set the time to beat. And by a pretty wide margin, good race from her. She will stop the clock at 4:10.20. And Takahashi 4:14.82.
Minute 44.82.
See Han Mei, the lap time's dipping into the 34 seconds. So quite a big jump. She was down in the early 33s, and that's a lot of tail off. So, yeah, like I was mentioning, a lot of skaters now opting for quick starts, putting time in the bank, and just seeing how well they can hold it. You always sort of notice that the skaters really look comfortable putting a good rhythm in together. That likely translates on the ice. Anyway, second pair. Another skater from China, the youngster Yang Binyu.
Starting on the inner lane is Binyu Yang of China. On the outer lane is
And
Laura
then
Hall
the
of
Canadian,
Canada.
Laura Hall. Her own father competed
Go
at the
to the start.
1994 Olympics in Lillehammer.
Ready.
Hall, World University Games gold medalist back in 2023. Finished in 14th in the overall World Cup in the distances. Unlike other distances where you have the overall in the 500, 1,000, 1,500, the distances are different because a couple of World Cups, or at least there's going to be one. There's going to be a 5,000 meters for women, so they combine the points for the 5,000 and the 3,000 to get that distances overall title. Yang is from Harbin. That's up in the northeast of China. There is an oval there. It's hosted several international events. Yang was 9th in the distances overall last season. And it's Yang early on putting in a 31.5, Hall of 32.3. And so we'll see what kind of strategies both these skaters are playing. And a hard start for Yang. Smooth, a little bit labored, if I can say, perhaps from Hall. That arm coming off a little bit. Very similar times. That's a big drop off for Yang, as Hall did lose time, but only just a couple of tenths of a second there. And so we'll see if Hall is skating more consistently and Yang is deploying the let's just try to hang on tactic. To 4 to go, and Yang at a 32.11, 32.76 for Hall. So Yang actually hanging on nicely right now, just about 3/10 of a second off the pace of her teammate Han Mei, who now has the time to beat. She'll go over the top into the inner lane. Yang, a member of the Chinese Four Continents Team Pursuit gold medal team from a week ago. That was just up the road in Hachinohe City. Now Yang dipping into the green, almost 4/10 clear. Another 32.17. Nice consistent race from her in the end. Thought maybe for a moment she was going out too quickly, but she's got a couple of those low 32 laps back to back. Looking quite smooth. There's no expression on the face. We're going to see Martina Sablikova in just a little bit. She is sort of the epitome of that stone face. Expression giving away nothing. 32.4 for Yang, adding a bit of time. 33.1 for Laura Hall. Yang Bingyu. Might this be a time that could hold up a little bit? Pretty good pair coming up with a couple of veteran skaters from Canada. But Yang, her own personal best time, 4:01.32. I don't think that's in danger of falling, but we shall see. 32.8, she's at a 3:34 right now. And Yang about 2 seconds clear of Han Mei. On the outside, the arm coming off the back a little bit. Certainly fatigue setting into those legs. She just wants to get to the finish line, skate side down. Yang Bingyu trying to hang on, put up the fastest time. Can she hold on ahead of her own teammate? And Yang goes 4:07.63, so by 2.5 seconds, Yang Bingyu goes into the lead. Skate for the 22-year-old. Nod of the head.
Introducing the skaters for the next race.
As I mentioned, the all-Canadian pair.
Starting from the inner lane
Evening
is
Blondet out of Ottawa,
Canada.
the nation's capital. On the inner lane and on the outer,
On the outer lane is
Valerie
Valerie
Malte.
of Canada.
A lot of experience in this race.
Go to the start. Ready.
さあ次がスタートしました。インターレーンからは
Blondet. Bronze in this, the Four Continents, a week ago. And she was 5th yesterday in the 1500 meters. You'll see Blondet a lot. I talk about it quite often, but she does just about everything, bar the 500 meters. Both of them in the green early. Expect them to feature prominently in the women's mass start tomorrow. Those regular podium finishers there. Of course, part of that golden Canadian team pursuit side, along with Isabel Weideman. So I would say they know each other pretty well. Of course, also the both of them started in short track before jumping over to the oval. 30.6 for Blondet, 30.4 for Malte. Both of them banking time early. Blondet picking up the speed a little bit on the foot speed. I think when they pick up the speed like that on the back stretch, on the crossover, you're picking up the leg speed to try to soak up as much of that draft as much as possible. So Blondet still in front right now, almost identical lap times between the two. So let's just see here. Watch the glide. We'll see if it's Malte who tries to pick it up. Nope. She'll tuck nicely into that corner. So I know it's an individual sport, but these skaters, they just know each other so well, and you have to wonder if they know how they're pacing it, setting up these races. Just a handful of hundredths of a second separating them. Inside 4 laps to go. It's Blondet at the moment, but only by about 11 hundredths of a second, almost synchronous down that back stretch. Is Malte still with a tiny advantage, coming up to 3 to go. Again, just 17 hundredths separating them on that last lap. Both of them still under 32-second lap time. They're both banking really good time. So barring any collapse, any lactic kicking into the legs that gets to them really quickly, they could be headed to the top of the leaderboard for the moment. But of course, this is pair 3 of 8. A lot of big names still to come, including their own teammate in the next pair, and almost side by side now. 2 to go. Look at that, 3 hundredths of a second separating them. And it's Malte now, perhaps with a little bit of momentum, knocking out a quarter of a second from her teammate on that last lap. Again, there's Blondet maximizing that draft. She's stuck really to the outside, upping the leg speed to get sucked on a little bit. That sets her up for that corner. And now on the inner lane, might this be Blondet? Just with that little bit more endurance, 400 meters to go. She puts in a 32.49 there at Malte. Big slip there. Still in the green, but she's at a 33.3. And so this looking like it will be Blondet's race, barring the unforeseen, of course. And it is Blondet coming around the last time, eyeing the top of the leaderboard, throwing down the gauntlet for the pairs to come, and it will be Blondet clocking a 4:03.76. She's happy with that. I thought I saw a nod of the head. That's a whole lot of pain. And then a nice time for Blondet, or Malte as well, hanging on. 4:05.03. for so much of that race. They were just within a few hundredths of a second. Just that little bit of a shift from Blondin gives her the pair, but they now go 1 and 2 on the leaderboard. How long might that last now? Make the next pair hold something. Momoka Horikawa on the inner lane.
Start from the inner lane is Momoka Horikawa of Japan. On the outer lane is
Isabel Weideman, World Championship silver medalist in this distance on the outer.
Go to the start. Ready.
Now, Weideman might employ a bit of a different tactic. She might go for just trying to skate a flat race, picking a speed, having a distance that she's comfortable with, or having a tempo that she's comfortable with, and just skating that, avoiding a big drop-off in time. Horikawa, meanwhile, 21 years old, last weekend, won the Four Continents Championship in Hachinohe City, former World Junior Champion in this distance as well. A young woman from Taiki, that's in the eastern part of Hokkaido Island. And so a lot of the skaters from Japan are now from Hokkaido because that Obihiro Oval has really become a big training center for Japanese talent. Horikawa last season, when the season began in Obihiro, picked up a silver medal this very distance. Bit of a difficult crossover there, and that's just sapped all of Weideman's speed. That is going to cost her pretty big time. Horikawa tucked in. I'm not sure what kind of speed she lost as well, but those crossover mishaps do happen. And when they're side by side, it does create those tricky situations. And so we'll watch Horikawa now. She's sitting at a 31.5. Weideman going 32.4, already 3 seconds down. And see what kind of push she puts in. Horikawa is a little bit off the pace, though. 2.4 to go. Horikawa 32.1 lap time, 32.3. So Weideman closing that lap time a little bit, but it's just a lot of time that just gets sapped away when you essentially stand up and can't keep the legs going over. You have to refine the tempo somehow. You have to regain that speed as well. And so virtually impossible to get back on a comparatively short race like the 3,000 meters. It's not like it's the 5K. See what Horikawa can do. 32.4. Now Weideman into the 31.9. So she is picking up the tempo, closing that gap. Horikawa is still in front. The rhythm doesn't appear thrown off. She is looking pretty smooth. But Weideman lit the fire underneath. Now she is putting in a surge. She does go 32.0. She, she could take this pair, could Weideman, in the end. Wonder what amount of adrenaline just gets coursing through the veins when you start to know you have to chase. Closed right up now at the bell. Horikawa is still in front. Compare those lap times, 32.6, 32.4, and so Weideman 0.4 of a second behind Horikawa in the overall. Put a couple tenths of second into her in that last lap. We'll see how much more she can close it up. The shoulders rocking a little bit on Horikawa. Certainly fatigue setting in. Weideman I dare say, still looking pretty smooth, but it is Horikawa in front. She is going to hang on to take the pair. And she will clock a 4:06.39, third fastest right now, 2.5 seconds off the pace set by Blondin. You have to wonder what damage that little crossover mishap had to both of them.
4分02秒39イザベル・ワイデマンカナダ4分07秒04以上です。
素晴らしい滑りでした。堀川選手、そして両選手に盛大な拍手をお願いします。
Next pair.
Introducing the skaters competing in the
There's
fifth
another
race.
one that might challenge the top of the leaderboard. Ragna Weekland in the outer lane, but first Greta Myers, the young
Of USA.
skater from the United States.
On the outer lane is
As I mentioned,
Ragna
Ragna Weekland.
of Norway.
Go to the start. Ready.
Myers 19th in the 1500 meters yesterday. Weekland 13th, but the longer distances is where Ragna Weekland really shines. A couple gold medals in the 3,000 meters on World Cup last season. We'll see what kind of form she's in.
200 meters for victory of Norway, 20.6.
So you can't gauge too much from the opening. I believe I saw Martina Sablikova beginning her warm-up on that blue warm-up track. Weekland does have the 14th fastest time in the world in this distance so far this season, but of course it's tough to quantify with different ice surfaces, as we all know, different elevations, however, all that. So she did that earlier this month at the Norwegian Championships. That was in Stavanger, and she won it by over 12 seconds, but see, this is the first real look at how she compares to the rest of the world. The first time we've actually seen her, or she's competed since earlier this month. I know there's been some racing in Germany, and I'm sure I will bring that up once or twice, particularly in the men's 1,000 meters. But right now, Ragna Weekland at 31.93. I should watch Greta Myers now, the young American, still in the 32nd lap times. Myers does have the 10th fastest time in the world this year. That was in Milwaukee at the U.S. Long Track Championships in March. And so that's now Weekland. Is this her starting to shift now? 4 laps to go, down to a 31.7. Myers to a 31.9. Weekland still has 1.8 seconds to close up this last lap, though. Or this last lap. The last few laps to come. It's a good rhythm for Weekland. 32, a 32.83 for Myers, and so that time by Blondin is starting to stand the test of time here. No worries on the crossover here. Myers getting a bit of a draft, but it is over the top for Weekland as she starts to assert her dominance in this pair. 2 to go. Weekland now adding to her advantage, a 31.74. That's certainly a big chunk, down to about a 1/4.5, and so if I remember correctly, she's knocked out about 3/4 of a second. Picking up the leg speed, setting herself up for that outer corner. at the bell. What do things show now? 1.05, a 32.28, so taking a couple tenths of a second out, but that's a lot to pull back on 400 meters compared to Blondin. She does have that added benefit of going into the inner lane. Ragnar Weekland opened the season last year with a gold in the 3,000 meters. A 24-year-old from Oslo. And will Blondin's time hold up? Here comes Weekland, and second. 4:04.61, and so she jumps ahead of Valerie Malte, but Ebony Blondin still sitting atop the leaderboard. Myers with a 4:12.55 will go into ninth. So maybe 3K was a bit too short for her. She was closing it up, but just gave herself a bit too much to do. And again, that fast start from Blondin, hanging on late. It's proving to be a pretty solid tactic so far. And there's the leaderboard. The two Canadian teammates first and third at the moment. Weekland in second, Horikawa fourth, Weideman in fifth. Three more pairs still to go. Three more pairs still to go. Next one is a pair of Dutch skaters.
Pair number 6.
Merel Konijn.
In the lane is Mara Konijn of Netherlands.
The Netherlands, and Elisa Doel.
On the outer lane is Elisa Doel of Netherlands.
Go to the start. Ready.
Merel Konijn. We haven't really seen much on the international circuit. In fact, I don't think she even raced on World Cup last season. Doel was fourth in the European Championships in this event. 13th overall in the distances. The 26-year-old Doel, who's from Zwolle. Beautiful city east of Amsterdam. She was also 11th in the worlds in this distance. So no Irene Schouten for the Dutch anymore, and so perhaps looking for a new standard bearer. Of course, Joy Boone still to come as well, who I'm sure I'll get to her list of accomplishments. So it's not so much redeveloping, it's more reloading for this powerful Dutch distance side. And then of course there's Marijke Groenewold, who she goes in the last pair and is really now the standard bearer in the mass start for the Dutch. And not the fastest times at the moment. 32.6 for Doel, 33.1 for Konijn. And so more and more, that time atop the leaderboard for Ebony Blondin. Looking like it may be standing the test of time. Of course, as I mentioned, big names still to come. Blondin has a couple of 3,000 meter victories, and of course she does have one in the 3,000 meters from Nagano, and so the return to form that would be for Blondin, the 2019-2020 season. Coming up to 3 to go. And it is still Doel in front, but they're losing pretty good chunks of time. Konijn is coming into this race a little bit. 32.5 the last lap time compared to 33.4. Konine certainly with something to prove here, the 23-year-old. Three Dutch skaters still to watch for in the final two pairs. The aforementioned Joy Bune, Sane Inatov, and Marijke Groenewold. There's big differences in the lap time, and so Konine really coming into this as Duel starts to fade. But Blondin's time looking like it will survive another pair. The podium unchallenged. Weekland and Malte at the bell. 32.4 lap time for Konine. 34.1 for Duel. Will Grimace just trying to pump those legs, keep the momentum going. Heading into the final corner, setting things up into that outer lane. Miro Konine will win the pair, but she's not going to threaten the top of the leaderboard. And she goes 4:08.52 for 7th. And Duel will go into 11th place.
ただいまの結果、ベレルコナインオランダ4分08秒52、エリサ・デュルオランダ4分12秒91以上です。
I think that image says a lot when you're looking for someone who's not showing their pain, looking for someone in a rhythm. That hurt. So what a pair this one is. Martina the Great on the inner lane.
The skaters competing in race 7.
Sablikova, and on the outer lane, the world all-around champion Joy
Starting from the
Bune.
inner lane is Martina Sablikova of Czech Republic. On the outer lane is Joy Bune of Netherlands.
Go to the start. Ready.
Always interesting to see what the athletes do in the off-season. Sablikova, of course, it's usually spent on the bike for a good chunk of it. She did miss the all-arounds due to an ankle injury that she suffered at the World Single Distances in Calgary at the end of last season. Recovery included some inline. She was on the bike a lot in Italy. The World Ice Hockey Championships were actually also in Czechia last year, and Sablikova went to check that out. And Bune, what a finish to the season she had last year. A couple of World Championships, including in the 5,000 in Calgary, and then went on to put up a pretty memorable World All-Arounds as well.
600 meters for Bune, 50.94, lap time 30.40, Sablikova 51.82, lap time 31.25.
See how things are right now. As I mentioned, Bune, World All-Around Champion. 1, 2, and 3, all Dutch skaters. And it's Bune in front right now with 5 laps to go. 31.17 the lap time. 31.94 for Sablikova. But Sablikova, as we always like to point out, just so consistent. She doesn't have much of a slowdown on the lap time. So as a lot of skaters start off fast and just try to hang on, she don't expect much deviation in that lap time. She's at a high 31s right now. We'll see how it changes. Of course, I could be wrong. But it's Bune right now, quarter of a second off the pace. She dips into the 32s, does Sablikova. So about 2.3 seconds off the pace. We always wonder, when will time catch up to Martina Sablikova? What was I found? The last time she was off the world's podium in this distance was 2008. Sablikova, bronze at the Worlds last year. 32.19, the lap time for Buna. She's fading a little bit, and Sablikova also slipping into the 32.3s. So once again, Blondin, that time hanging up there right now. For so long, Sablikova has really flown that Czech flag high. But there is, that program is perhaps finding another gem. A young man who's attracting a lot of attention, and I'm sure we'll talk about him soon enough. Metode Gilek. He's just 18 and already throwing down some big times. He won the 5,000 meters for men B division this morning. But we won't focus about him right now. He's the future right now. Sablikova closing the gap on Buna. It is still Buna in front right now at the bell. Checking this clock, 32.98 and 32.27. Big chunk of time taken out by Sablikova. Could Sablikova close up? A bit of a stumble there. And this might be an awkward crossover, so Buna might get a bit of a draft into the final turn. Sablikova has once again resisted a big fall off on time, but she just did not have that quick of a start, and so Buna might hang on to take the pair. It's still going to be Blondin atop the leaderboard, I think. And indeed, 4:04.60. Buna goes to second. Sablikova, 4:04.87. Last lap time there, 32.3, even with a stumble. And so another one where you sort of feel if this was a 5K, Sablikova might have found her way back into it. Last time, as I mentioned, Sablikova off the podium at a World Championships in the 3,000 meters way back in 2008. And so, Blondin still watching. One pair to go. And so, she will be on the podium. It's just a matter of what color it will be, and two more Dutch skaters
Introducing the skaters
will have
in
their
the final
say.
race of women's 3,000 meters.
Sanne Inetov
Starting from the inner lane is Sanne Intipov of Netherlands.
and Marijke Groenwoud.
And on the outer lane is Marke Grunwood of Netherlands.
Go to the start. Ready.
So yeah, just doing some double checking, and Blondin, it was in December of 2019 on this very ice, the last time Yvonne Blondin won a 3,000 meter World Cup. She set a then track record just over 4 minutes. Miho Takagi now has the track record in just over 3:59. Takagi we'll see in just a little bit in the 1,000 meters. So last chance though for these two. Inetov, she's born closer to the German border and does have experience training in Japan. She joined up with this Team Gold project with Miho Takagi. They trained a lot in Obihiro. Of course, Nagano, the M-Wave, you're closer down to Tokyo on Honshu Island. And in the early going, Groenwood's the faster, about 0.4 of a second off the pace, but we'll see how much drop-off there is of the 30.65. Groenwood, I expect to see her mixing it up tomorrow in the mass start with the likes of Yvonne Blondin and Valerie Malte. Groenwood, couple-time mass start world champion, bronze last season. And a 31.55, almost identical lap times there So the fast start again by Blondin, proving to perhaps be a winning tactic today. Just see how these two skaters can prevent a drop-off. It's not like Groenewold is a slouch. Silver in the World All-Arounds last year. And she does a 31.62. Of course, all these skaters could be in different places in their training programs, peaking for different events. There's all that tapering and so on. It is Groenewold right now, personal best 3:56.27. Nobody's really skating near personal bests so far today. In fact, no personal bests set. And at 32.3 now, and Groenewold, 2.25. And she's lapping closer again to Inatov. She will go over top of that crossover, but Inatov will get the benefit of that little bit of a draft there as she tucks into the outer lane. Might this be a day for Yvonne Blondin? It has been some time since she won an individual World Cup event. Individual non-mass start event, I should say, pardon me. Inatov closing it up. It is still Marijke Groenewold. Going from Haarlem, northeast of Amsterdam. 1 lap to go. It's 2.25 seconds now. I think Yvonne Blondin can start to celebrate. Groenewold now lapping slower than Sanne Inatov. It's going to be a battle just to win the pair. She'll get sucked down the backstretch a little bit with that draft. Just fighting off the pain right now. It will be Marijke Groenewold winning the pair, but where will she finish overall? She crosses at a 4:05.14. Good enough for 6th, and there you have it. Yvonne Blondin. The celebrations begin on the Canadian side. Ragnar Wiklund also on the podium. And just checking to see here. It is certainly her first 3,000 meter World Cup gold medal since December of 2019.
After resurfacing of the ice, the competition will return with men's
And maybe her
5,000 meters
first
at 1:56 at
non-mass start gold medal of any kind since a gold medal in the 5,000 meters earlier that season in Kazakhstan. A hug from Martina Sablikova. And an interesting podium. Yvonne Blondin, who had almost been defining herself exclusively as a mass start specialist who would just happen to do a lot of all the events. Here she is coming out on top to win the opening 3,000 meters of the new World Cup season. Ragnar Wiklund in second, Joy Boone of the Netherlands in third. There are your results. Blondin tops them all in Nagano. They're about to do an ice resurfacing. Be back for the men's 5K. We'll take a break. Don't go anywhere.
QR コードからアクセスできます。また電光スポーツリンクを掲載してください。そこにはスタートのや記録が大切に記載されています。以上、見どころをお伝えしました。なお、売店ではラップ記入表を見てラップ表を無料でお配りしております。こちらを使ってレースを楽しんでいただけば10倍面白くレースを見ることができます。ぜひラップ表、ラップ記入表売店でゲットしてください。なお、ラップ表は販売となっておりますのでご了承ください。なお、どちらも通行限定となっておりますので、どうぞお早めにゲットしてください。
In 5 minutes, we'll be returning to competition with men's 5,000 meters race. Skaters competing in the race, please get ready.
競技開始5分前、競技開始5分前です。この後行われます競技はディビジョン A の男子 5000m です。
さあ、このリングのリングレコードは2016年スベン・クラマー選手が出しました6分15秒17、6分15秒17、8年間破られておりません。この記録を破るためにはラップタイム29秒50、ラップで29秒50、これを超える必要があります。今日はいい記録が出そうな気配がかなりありますので、選手たちの背中を押してください。リンクレコードを叩き出せるかどうか、必死に滑る選手たちに皆様熱い拍手と声援で後押しをよろしくお願いいたします。
In 2 minutes, we'll be returning to competition, men's 5,000 meters race. The skaters competing in the first pair, Sigurd Henriksen and Holger Engebråten, please get ready.
Men's 5,000 meters coming up. First couple of pairs are really going to be dominated by Norwegian skaters. Lots in the first few pairs here, including this first one.
The skaters
Sigurd
competing in
Henriksen,
the first race.
the youngster, and Helge
Starting from the
Ingebrigtsen.
lane is Sigurd Henriksen of Norway. On the outer lane is Holger
Ingebrigtsen, of course.
Engebråten of Norway.
Bronze medalist in the 5,000 meters from Beijing in
Go
2022.
to the start. Ready.
男子 5000m
エングブロック
スタートしましたインドネシアからはシグルド・ヘンリクセン
Member of the gold medal team pursuit side as well from those 2022 games. Henriksen originally from Bergen, now living in Stavanger.
200 meter for
That's the home
Engebråten
of
of Norway.
Tango over there. 3 times a world junior champion in the 5,000 meters. Has some senior experience as well, but still just 20 years old. A lot of runway for that young man. Of course, Fairlund Pedersen retiring after last season. So this Norwegian men's side trying to find a new leader, a bit of identity here, particularly in the
600
distance
meter for
program.
Engebråten, 49.55, lap time 30.00. Henriksen 50.23, lap time 30.45.
Norway also losing Hova Lorentzen, also retiring. There may be a bit of transition for this Norwegian side. We'll see what these young men can do. Still 2 guys in their early first half of the 20s. You can see clocking 30-second lap times. It's Engebråten at the moment. He's from a little town called Kongsvinger. It's just east of Oslo. It really is just a small town. Comparing these 2 lap times, still 31.5. Nice consistency from Engebråten, keeping in the low 30s. Patrick Roost is not here. And then from the Netherlands. So opening it up a little bit. Davide Giotto. One to watch for several reasons. He goes in pair number 6. I'll get to him once he gets to his race. Ted-Jan Blumen, the Canadian, goes in pair number 4. Graham Fish, the other Canadian, going in pair number 5. As Engebråten dips under 30 seconds that lap. And we see him in the first pair, but he is someone who has won an Olympic medal in this distance, has Helge Ingebrigtsen, so it's not like he's just getting his feet wet here. 31.5 the lap time. Just going to point out that the current track record has been there since 2016. That was Sven Kramer with a 6:15.17. Niels van der Poel With the world record 6:01.56. That was set back in 2021. But Mike, we've seen a lot of track records to open the season, both at the four continents and the World Cup here. Might track record fall in this distance. The 30.3, the lap time Henriksen, the 30.6. So he's still in that ballpark in the 30-second lap time. Just lapping it slower than Engebroten, more experienced of his teammates. He's not looking labored, he is looking smooth. Both hands behind the back. And a 30.4, so slipping a little bit. Henriksen to a 30.8. You see the lap board 0.4. That means 30.4 on the last lap. They only show the last second and the first decimal, really. Down to 4 to go. Engebroten, you see this lap time another 30.6, so stabilizing a little bit, just losing tiny chunks of time. Henriksen closing up now at 30.7, so still losing time, but just dropping 17 hundredths of a second. Is this the big tip to the other way in the pair? It is a pretty good gap though, so Engebroten has banked a lot of time. A lot of this race is just mental focus, just trying to keep that consistency, keeping the turnover, the grimace. You see it seeping in. So a crack in the facade. 3.95 the last lap time for Henriksen. True feelings starting to seep out, the pain becoming evident with 2 to go. Engebroten 31.28. That's a pretty healthy drop into the 31s, and Henriksen now going faster, but he is over 3 seconds behind, and so Engebroten might have enough time in the bank, barring any large drop of energy. Of course, the burn in the legs, the lactic could just take over. And then suddenly the legs are like cement at the bell. 400 meters to go. 31.75 the lap time for Engebroten. 30.94 for Henriksen. So he dropped 0.8 of a second that lap, but it's just too much right now. 2.3. Engebroten is keeping the legs turning over. Pain is evident now. The arms are rocking. It's just a lot more noisy on the skates. So kudos to Henriksen for closing that up. It is going to be Engebroten setting the fastest time. He goes 8:32.18 the last lap time, 6:27.49. Henriksen going 30.7 for a 6:28.4. So he closed right up inside a second. That's a huge chunk of time taking that last lap by the young man. Yeah. How did that race feel? It felt like that. That's not a smile.
Introducing the
Second
skaters
pair,
competing in the second
Wu
race.
Yu of China and Christian Gamma Ulekleiv
Starting from the inner
of
lane
Norway.
is Yu Wu of China. On the outer lane is Christian Gammon Ulekleiv of Norway.
Go to the start. Ready.
2組がスタートしました。インナーレーンからはゴール中
So
国
you saw their ages. Ulekleiv 28, Wu 27. Wu is from Jinzhou, east of Beijing. And of course, Beijing is stop number 2 on the World Cup circuit next weekend. For a couple of weeks there, Beijing will be everything speed skating. They're on the oval one weekend, and then the following weekend The short track world tour resumes there. Of course, keep an eye out for all of those broadcasts. But we're in Nagano right now for this race. Ulik Live from Hamar, the home of this year's World Championships at the end of the season. 14th in this distance at World Championships. He also might mix it up in the mass start. Might Ulik Live, 9th in the European Championships. Wu was 17th in the 5,000 meters at the World Championships, 8th overall in those distances, in the long distances. Much like in the women, they combined 3 and 5,000 meter points. In the men, it's the 5 and the 10K, and so take all the points whenever those distances are held. Of course, this weekend, as you can see, it's the 5,000 for men, and through 1,000 meters, Wu lapping 30.14 there, about a quarter of a second off the pace. And that one looked like a digital lap board, going fancy. Usually it's the manually operated one for a lot of teams. That one looked like it was digital. See if there's much of a drop off for Wu. 30.2, that time 30.75 for Ulik Live, and so Wu just under 0.4 of a second off the pace. Speaking of that mental toughness and the focus in the 5,000 meters, if you lose a stride, have a slower lap, the fortitude to recover and get back on the tempo that you like. You want to skate the race that you know you're capable of. Wu, it's a 33 that time. Ulik Live dropping about 0.4 of a second. So we do remember, if you'll remember Ingebrigtsen's race, I know it just ended, but he started strong and he really did fade late, especially on that last lap. So Wu, under a second off that pace. There's still a long way to go in this one. 7 laps left. And a 30.3 bang on where he has been, a lot of them. And Ulik Live coming back into this one a little bit. 30.5 that lap time. And so this one is long enough where you really do need to be consistent. You cannot go out hard and just try to hang on for dear life and expect a fast time. This one, there's a measure of that, obviously, but consistency is the name of the game. And Wu, a 30.2, bang on, exactly where he wants to be. And a 30.4 for Ulik Live, so he's also finding a measure of consistency. So each lap around, we'll see how much Wu deviates from that 30.3-ish lap time. And we see 30.5, a little bit of a slip. Ingebrigtsen down to a 30.7, essentially. So still under a second off of Ingebrigtsen's time. Wu did do the 5,000 meters a week ago in Hachinohe City. Another sea level ice. He was at 6 minutes 30 seconds, good enough for 6th place. And a 30.4, and so he's hanging in there. Ulik Live back to a 30.6. So last weekend, Wu was about 12 seconds off the pace set by Graham Fish, who set the new track record in Hachinohe City, winning there in the 5,000 meters. 3 to go. Wu has been around 30.3-ish. He's dropped a couple of tenths to 30.8. Ulik Live now lapping faster, but he's 3 seconds behind Wu. There is some time to close it up. And catching Ingebrigtsen's time is not beyond the realm of possibility. Ingebrigtsen lost a good chunk of time in those last 2 laps, and particularly in the last lap. I'm coming off the back a little bit. 800 meters to go. Wu, 30.9 that time. Ulicklive a 30.85. So he's closing it bit by bit. Wu now inside 0.3 of a second. The pain is certainly seeping in right now. He's been on tempo. It's about putting that pain out of your mind for another couple hundred meters. Wu has been closing on Hallgeir Ingebrigtsen. Let's see where he is now. He's in the green now, 31.1, but he has he's just over 0.3 of a second. Ulicklive still lapping at 30.8. So Wu, knowing he's faster now, is dulling some of that pain a little bit. The mouth is opening a little bit more, trying to suck in whatever oxygen he can get. Wu Yu coming around to set the fastest time. He will stop the clock at 6:26.58. Ulicklive closed it up a little bit more. 6:28.62, still fourth place, but not a bad second half of the race for Ulicklive. Faster than his time in Hachinohe City last weekend. Was losing a little bit of time as things went along, but strong race for him to go fastest. Ingebrigtsen second, Sigurd Henriksen into third. Third pair, another Norwegian skater. I think this is the fourth. I think this is all of them. It is Peter Kongshaug
Of Norway.
and Shomu Sasaki, a
And
youngster
the alternate is
from
Shomu
Japan.
Sasaki of Japan.
Go to the start. Ready.
Sasaki, this is his first international race of the season. He didn't take part in the Four Continents last weekend, so first international action for him since the World All-Around at the end of last season. They're both pretty young skaters.
South of Norway, 19.14.
Sasaki, as he saw, just 18. Kongshaug is 23. He made his debut internationally in the bubble. Part of that weird situation during the height of the pandemic when things were starting to opening up and the World Cup season was essentially a couple of weekends in Heerenveen, where surviving maybe cabin fever, stuck being in a hotel or a speed skating oval, was a major accomplishment. Strange time that was. Sasaki, pardon me, he did do the team pursuit at the Four Continents a week ago. So his first international individual races of the season. He did skate to second place at the Japanese Single Distance Championships at the end of October. He put up a 6:28.64. He finished in second behind Seitaro Ichinohe. Ichinohe goes in the next pair. Very even skating through the early rounds of this oval. Both of them in the green, both of them right around at 30 seconds even the lap time. Kongshaug will get a nice draft down that back stretch, shaping himself up to tuck in on the inner lane. And there is a lot of strategy in these races. You get sucked in that draft, of course you're saving the energy. Set up the crossover as well. And Kongshaug still under 30 seconds. He's starting to shift a little bit here. Sasaki Would not be surprised to see him in the mass start as well. Sasaki has a gold medal in the mass start from last season in Quebec City. Picked up the silver.
2200 meters for Comstock, 2 minute 48 for Comstock. Left at 30.13. Sasaki, 2 minute 49.97.
Sorry, it was just the gold medal in Quebec City last year, pardon me. 38th in the overall distances on World Cup. Kong gets over the top on that crossover. 23-year-old, very smooth, good rhythm from him. 30.21 the lap time. Sasaki still in the green with a 30.8. Kong a couple of seconds in the bank to work with. Another 30.2, and I think that is where Kong is trying to get. It's a couple laps in the 32, or 30.2 range rather. See how he can maintain that. He started going under 30 seconds, but has found a rhythm. See how he's still going. 30.5, a little bit of a slip, but adding to his advantage. He's over 2 seconds ahead of the time that stands atop the leaderboard right now. And that is, of course, Wu Yu. Opening things up a little bit without Patrick Roost here. Did not do the Dutch trials in the 30.6, so there is a little bit of slippage every lap. Sasaki down to a 31.5. Sasaki was silver in the team pursuit last weekend in Hachinohe City.
For 200 meters for Kong-Sao, 5 minutes
30.99, and so that time is slipping away a little bit for Kong-Sao. Down to the 31 range, Sasaki over 32. So 1 to go, still in the green. Peter Kong-Sao at 31.1. He has 2 1/4 seconds to work with. It's not a pained open mouth, it's more just a gasping for air open mouth a little bit. Keeping both hands on the back, bringing the arm down on the corners just to keep the legs ticking over. Keeping the leg speed going. Peter Kong-Sao is going to win the pair. And we'll see what his time will be. Looks like he's going to go atop the leaderboard. Indeed, 31.3 the last lap time. 2.5 seconds ahead of Wu. And so he's 6:24.09. Shomu Sasaki, a 6:31.99 to go to 6th. The readjustment of the leaderboard in the men's 5,000 meters. Wu down to second, and Goten to third. 5 pairs still to go. And there is Mr. Gyoto.
Introducing skaters competing in
pair.
pair 4.
Seitaro Ichinohe and the
Starting
veteran,
on the inner lane,
great Canadian Ted
Seitaro
Jan Blumen.
Ichinohe of Japan. On the outer lane is Ted Jan Blumen of Canada.
Go to the start. Ready.
be the oldest man in the race today, but in a race like this, there's one thing you know, and that's how your body is reacting. He knows how to pace himself. He knows what he's capable of. Ichinohe, Japanese champion from the end of last month in this distance. And just to compare, that was on the same ice, so we can kind of do an apples-to-apples comparison. Ichinohe 6:24.67. And yesterday, Ichinohe came 7th in the 1500 meters. Both the skaters in the green right now. Ichinohe in the high 28s, Blumen in the low 29s. As we all know, the next task, keep it as close to that time as possible. Very even open few laps. Side by side, 1/100th of a second separating them. It's a pretty big drop off for Ichinohe. Blumen closing about 4/10 of a second. Let's see who can find the rhythm. And is Blumen's rhythm for real, and did Ichinohe fly off a bit too quickly? Long way to go. 29.75, and yeah, Ichinohe, he's gone from high 28s to low 30s in the matter of 2 laps. And so, speaking of that mental focus, how can he try to sort of stem the bleeding and get back to the lap times he knows he's capable of? Blumen, there you go for Ichinohe, back to a 29.8. Very close lap time to Blumen. Blumen will get a nice draft down the back stretch. Of course, world track records don't fall as quickly as an oval like this. It's been around for a few years, so sometimes they're pretty well established. Both of them bang on 30 seconds. Blumen may be shedding a few extra hundredths. Ichinohe closing back up just that little bit. Blumen, Olympic silver medalist in the 5,000 meters. That was, of course, back in Pyeongchang in 2018. Gold medalist in the 10K in that same event. Did not have a great Beijing Games, but he's still going, and he's still atop the leaderboard in a lot of events, and so why would you stop? Great draft down the back stretch for Blumen. Just seeing him just get sucked along there as close as he could for as long as he could before getting into that inner lane. Now he's starting to pull away a little bit. About half a second gained on that lap time for Blumen. Blumen was 4th in the 5,000 a week ago at the 4 continents. Now he dips back under 30 seconds. And he finished, ironically enough, right behind Seitaro Ichinohe by just over a second. So a week later, it's Blumen who is looking the more consistent, and it's not looking comfortable for Ichinohe. 30.4, 30.48, so he's still right up there on the lap times with 3 to go, is Seitaro Ichinohe. Just losing about 0.08 of a second compared to Blumen. He just looks a bit more labored than Blumen. Blumen still looks smooth. Shall see if this time can sit atop the leaderboard. 2 to go. Blumen a 30.4, 30.6 for Ichinoe. Both of them still in the green, but that is pain. That is suffering. That is agony for Seitaro Ichinoe. He's dropping the head. He's picking it back up again. He wants it to end. And it almost will. But it will feel like an eternity. And so Blumen, second overall last year in the distances on World Cup, gets the bell here. He's on course to top the leaderboard, 30.5. Ichinoe, for all his battling, all his scrapping, he's hanging in there. He's still in the green, dropping both the arms, just trying to keep it ticking over, but it's Blumen. Both arms on the back, on his way to top the leaderboard. Ted Jan Blumen. He's been in the green almost the entire time, and he will finish that way. Blumen goes 6:20.10. Ichinoe 6:23.07. Absolutely valiant effort from Ichinoe. But Ted Jan Blumen 6:20.10 for him. Just see how he compared. Obviously different surfaces, but 6:25.19 was a week ago, so about 5 seconds faster is Ted Jan Blumen. That is the new time to beat, the Canadian veteran, showing him how it's done in Nagano. Gonzaga still hanging on to third, but these two might challenge it. Graham Fish, the Canadian,
Start from the inner lane is Graham Fish,
27-year-old, champion a week ago at Four Continents, and Michele Malfatti,
Michele Malfatti of Italy.
29-year-old from Italy.
Go to the start. Ready.
Fish, champion at Four Continents a week ago. Malfatti, last time he skated in international competition was at the World All-Arounds. World All-Arounds were in Germany. Fun end of the season. Well, for those of us watching anyway, it's a lot of skating, a lot of suffering for those taking part. Malfatti did skate earlier this season in Insel. Not an official international event, but he did a 5,000 meters in 6:19.76, finishing about almost 9 seconds behind his teammate Davide Giotto. And Giotto is in the next pair, and I'm sure I'll spend a lot of time talking about what he's been getting up to in the last little bit. Both of them in the green right, or in the red right now. Malfatti is from Trento, which is in northern Italy, closing in on the border with Germany. And a matter of 0.04 of a second separating these two men right now. Second and a half off the pace, set by Ted Jan Blumen. Malfatti was 8th at World All-Arounds last season, just scraping in to do the last race, the 10,000 meters, which, if you haven't seen a World All-Arounds, it's a 500, a 5,000, a 1,500, and then the top 8 after that third event will get to do a 10,000. And Malfatti got to do it, skated a pretty good 10,000 too.
1800
Finished
meters
in
for
8th
Malfatti.
overall. He's leading the pair at the moment, but Graham Fish starting to find his feet a little bit. Malfatti getting a good draft there though. He really made the most of that one, sitting out wide as long as he could. And I also do wonder if Fish crossed over early so as to force Malfatti to chase him all the way on the outside and take up maybe an extra few centimeters to go from all the way out there to get into that inner lane in time. Malfatti lapping faster now. And it is Malfatti still in front. Leading the way at the moment, Ted-Jan Blumen, 6:01.86. Pardon me, 6:20.10. I was looking at Blumen's personal best. There's still about 5 seconds to shave off until we're in track record territory. Again, Malfatti, the 29-year-old, getting a good draft down that back stretch. Down to 5 to go through 3,000 meters. Very even pair. Fish now lapping a bit quicker. It's sort of punch, counter punch, and they're closing the gap on Blumen's time. Inside a second. And Fish now looking like he might jump in front. Malfatti last year, 6th in the 5,000 meters, pardon me, at the World Championships, the World Single Distances, that is. Now Fish still in the 29.5, Malfatti dips into the 30s, and it's closing that little bit more on Ted-Jan Blumen. We'll see if Fish is going to dip into the green now. This will be an interesting time split. 3 to go, and Graham Fish is now in fact into the green by 0.4 of a second. 29.65. Fish is out to prove that last weekend's Four Continents Championship was only the beginning. The man who held the world record in the 10,000 meters once upon a time, is he now finding his form again? Fish with 2 to go, 29.74. Now he's more than a second ahead of his teammate. This is Graham Fish starting to skate very consistently now. Back-to-back weekends. And there's the bell. And again, another lap under 30 seconds. Graham Fish putting down a time today. The man who came third in the World Championships in 2020. Four Continents champion a week ago on the inner lane coming home. Graham Fish. He's trying to beat a time set by his teammate. Fish goes P1, 6:17.33. Another lap under 30 seconds. The suffering was worth it for the Canadian by just under 3 seconds. He goes atop the leaderboard. Model of consistency, under 30 seconds, just about the entire way. So Graham Fish has just thrown down the gauntlet here a little bit. 6:17.33, just a hair over 2 seconds off the track record. He set the track record a week ago in Hachinohe City. Not able to do the double Japanese track record. Anyway, next pair. This one. Ooh, oh my. Davide Giotto
is Davide Giotto
silver
of
medalist
Italy.
from the World Championships in the 5,000 meters, and Chris Huizinga,
On the outer lane is Chris Huizinga of Netherlands.
27-year-old from the Netherlands.
Go to the start. Ready.
So I teased a little bit Davide Giotto. And for those of you who might not have been following too closely until the start of this season, he skated an international race, that international race in Inzel at the end of October. He did a 5,000, a 10,000, and a 1,500 meters. 5,000 and the 1,500 were fine. He skated season best. The 10,000 meters, he threw down a 12:26.30. And why is that important? Now that was a new world record. It's not an official world record, mind you. That still goes to Niels van der Poel because this was not an internationally sanctioned event. There was no doping right after the event. And so it will forever remain an unofficial world record for Davide Giotto. But if that's an indication of what kind of form he's in, this is just going to be an interesting season, I think, because we have 10,000 meters to come later on. And obviously you're not training to peak for an international event in Inzel before the World Cup season even starts. So what kind of form is this man hiding right now? At that same event, he did a 6:10.82 as his 5,000 meter time. And while he and Huizinga are off to an absolute flyer right now, and worth pointing out that same event in Inzel, second place to Giotto, 20 seconds behind. Yes, it's a long way, but it was that young man from Czechia I told you about, Metode Gilek, who won the B division this morning. In that same event, it was unofficially a new world junior record in the 5,000 meters. And so the present is fast, the present and maybe the future also very fast. So much here to watch. But right now, Davide Giotto looking very, very comfortable right now. Huizinga not looking too badly either, but when you're in a pair with this man in the Azzurri kit, oh boy, 29.56, 29.83, both men in the green by a couple of seconds. So watching that track record right now, the 30-year-old Davide Giotto eyeing what was set back in just over 8 years ago, Sven Kramer, November 18th, 2016. Giotto, silver in this distance, the world single distances, 10,000 meter world champion.
2,200 meter for Giotto, 2 minute 45.
And Huizinga closing up a little bit, just a couple hundredths of a second off the pace that last lap. But Giotto looking very, very good right now. Check this latest lap split. At 2,600 meters, another 29.59. He's pushed it over 4 seconds out. Huizinga 29.76. So both of these men lapping faster than fish right now. A skater who's been around, 27 years old. He won the Dutch championship a couple weeks ago.
3,000 meter for Giotto, 3 minute 44, 46.
Still, Giotto, another 29.57. Just locked in there, 29.5 seconds. The only guy who's really been doing this consistently. Huizinga also under 30 seconds. And to 4 to go. Just look at how smooth he is. Metronomic on the skates. Huizinga now losing a bit of time into the 30.3s. Giotto still 29.67. There's no urgency. He's not showing any sort of pain. He doesn't look to be laboring at all. And Davide Giotto, the man from Altavio Vicentina, in the north near Vicenza. Another 29.66. Listing other ones of his accomplishments. Bronze in the 10,000 meters at the Beijing Olympics. 10,000 meter world champion in 2022 or 2023 and 2024. He did not win a World Cup in the 5,000 meters last year, did Giotto. Is he trying to change that right away in event number 1 of the season? 29.71. 4.25 seconds. Davide Giotto, Heisinger, losing time now. He's down into the 31s. Just could not match the blistering pace set by that man. He turns 31 on December the 3rd. At the bell, Giotto. Another 29.59, now pushing it out 4.5 seconds ahead of Fish's time. Heisinger slipping off the pace, down to 5th right now. His face gives away nothing. It's so smooth, so controlled. Davide Giotto comfortably in the lead. Could he be setting a new track record as well? Yes, he does. 6:12.71. Davide Giotto has just fired a warning shot to the rest of the distance skaters. Heisinger goes 6:22.81. But Giotto just knocked about 2.5 seconds off the track record that was Sven Kramer's. Still 2 pairs to go, but that is going to take some beating. He's barely drawing, he's barely out of breath, isn't he? Next pair 7 of 8, Bo Snellink.
Introducing the skaters competing in the race 7. Starting from the inner lane is Bo Snellink of Netherlands. On the outer
Bart
lane
Swings.
is Bart Swings of
The
Belgium.
mass start master. Here he is in the 5,000 meters.
Ready.
Now, Snellink is an interesting one here. A 23-year-old. He didn't really skate much last year. That's the thing. So we don't know sort of where he was compared to last year. 2 seasons ago, mind you, in the 2022-2023 campaign, he was the World Cup long distances overall champion. So there obviously is pace and potential in those legs. It's just, where is he in terms of his preparation? Of course, last year, sort of one of those middling seasons where you're not quite out of the shadow of the previous Olympics and not quite ramping up for the next one. This is the last full season before the Games, so a lot of skaters obviously getting ready with this one, but it'd be interesting to know where Bo Snellink is. He was second to Heisinger at the Dutch National Championships, third in the 10K by putting up a personal best time. So Snellink is from Leiden, which is north of Rotterdam, near The Hague. He's in front at the moment. Bart Swings.
1,000 meter for Snellink.
Snellink goes 29.22. Swings a 29.5.
1 minute 18.43, lap time 29.54.
Swings, as I mentioned. Imagine we'll see him for the mass start, using those inline abilities to his benefit. The man from Leuven, in Belgium, known for, among other things, its consumables.
1400 meter for Snelling is 1 minute 47.40. Lap
So
time
29.3 for Snelling,
Swings 1 minute
29.43. And so, you know, if they maintain that kind of time, they're going to fly right up the leaderboard. But they're already losing some time to Gyoto, who obviously is very good at maintaining his time. 29.19 now.
2 minutes 16.59. Lap time 29.19.
About a second off the pace. Just watch to see how that changes. At what point do you start to believe that someone's on a pace that they can maintain? Let's see. What can he do now? The 23-year-old. 29.34, so he's inside a second, 3/4 of a second with 7 laps to go. As we saw with Huizinga, once the legs are done, you drop huge chunks of time. For the moment, inching his way back in. Down to 6. Every time they come around, pay attention. 29.38. Now he's a half a second off the pace. Is Snelling back to his very best? Swings a 29.66. We're going to be watching the man in the orange on the front. Patrick Roost is not here, but Bo Snelling is. And he could be on something special here. A 29.35. It's 3/10 now. It's game on. Snelling, 5 to go. Gyoto just put down a track record. And the way he's gaining, it's always the big question mark though. Can it be maintained? Snelling is leading the way here. Still 4 laps to go. He still looks very smooth. 29.42. Look at that. 0.05 of a second. It may just be me. It seems like he's turning over quicker. The legs are going a little bit faster. Down to 3. Is he in the green now? No, he's lost a tiny bit of time. That's down to 29.75. And so Snelling losing a good chunk of time. Swings with a 31.4. He's sitting in 3rd place. What is left for Bo Snelling? This could be very telling. Is the race getting to him? Or is he refinding his legs? 29.77. It's 0.2 of a second. He's not losing a ton of time. But he might just be looking that little bit of labor. I'm not sure. Coming up to the bell, we'll see what kind of a jolt he gets. It's within an eyelash right now. It's the blink of an eye. Oh, and a stumble. Might that cost him? Snelling a 30.11. He's down off 3/4 of a second. That might be all it takes. Davide Gyoto might be able to breathe a little bit more. Now he ramps up the turnover. He gets the inside lane. Snelling had been closing bit by bit every lap, and then he started to see it slip away, and then a stumble. Like that just have been a loss of focus for a moment. Snelling is going to cross with 6:13.99. He's a 1.25 off the pace. Gyoto survives a very, very real scare.
6 minute 13.99. And finishing time for Barton Swings of Belgium, 6 minute 18.77.
But if that's any indication, I think Bo Snelling is back. I'm just going to make this distances division all the more exciting. Fish has slipped a little bit. Just hanging on to a podium right now. Swings, by the way, went 6:18.77. Good for 4th at the moment. That was fun. One pair still to go. Another look at Bo Snelling. There's Casey Dawson.
Introducing the skaters competing in the 8th and the final pair. Starting from the inner lane is Casey Dawson of USA. And on the other lane is
there was one more
Eitrem
Norwegian
of
skater. I
Norway.
know I missed one somewhere along the way. It was Sander Eitrem.
Go to the start. Ready.
Eitrem, Norwegian champion in the 1500, 5,000, and 10,000 meters.
200 meter for Eitrem of Norway is 19.45, and Dawson of USA 19.92.
Dawson, the 24-year-old American. Skated yesterday. He did do the 1500 meters. He finished in 8th place, and a week ago he was 5th in the 5,000 meters at 4 continents. He was about 8.5 seconds off the pace set by Graham Fish.
600 meter for Eitrem, 49.68, lap time 30.23.
Just an early look, Eitrem at 30.2 that lap time. So we have to wait and see how the story starts to get told. Eitrem does have the 11th fastest time in the world this season. Of course, set at the Norwegian Championships, he put in a 6:16.91. But as always, with those sorts of things, with these sorts of times, there's always the big caveat that it's different ice. Everybody is in different ice, different conditions. At the start of the season, this is very much the first look head-to-head of where people are. So in the early going, Sander Eitrem, 22 years old. Comfortable at the moment, 29.3, about 2.5 seconds off the pace. And again, if you can keep that low 29s, it's going to start moving ahead of skaters, but that's easier said than done. Through 1,800 meters. Slipping a bit to a 29.5.
2 minutes 17.96, lap time 29.57. Dawson 2 minutes 20.71, lap time 29.92.
1800メートルエイトレム2分17秒96ラップ29秒57、ドーソン2分20秒71ラップ29秒39。
Eitrem did
2200
pick up bronze medals in both the World Single Distances and European Single Distances Championships last season. He has a World Cup victory in the 2022-2023 season. There's actually a couple of medals in that season. One from Herenveen, a silver in the 5,000 meters, and a gold from Tomasz Mazowiecki in Poland.
2600 meter for Eitrem, 3 minutes 17.35, lap time 29.80. Dawson, 3 minutes 20.44, lap time 29.92.
And of course, I forgot yesterday, Sander Eitrem picking up a silver medal in the men's 1,500 meters. So it's tough to handicap a guy who is pretty good at the 10K, 1,500, and 5,000 meters. He's certainly in charge right now. 2,000 meters to go. There's just a lot of work to do. He's at a 29.8 and he's 2 3/4 seconds off the pace. set by Davide Giotto. That was a special time, there is no doubt, but they're both lapping identically, 29.8 that last lap time. Aitrem sitting at 5th right now. Up to 4 to go. Is he in the 30s? No, still 29.75. Still sitting in 5th. Dawson lapping pretty comparably right now. The Norwegian champion, bronze medalist from the last World Championships, the silver medalist from the 1500 meters yesterday, and he's still a young man, still just 22 years old. Sander Aitrem was a 29.5, now ticking down a little bit, up to 3rd. 29.9 for Dawson. But Aitrem, he has maintained it in that those mid-29 range. And that's seeing him jump up ahead of 2 skaters up into 3rd. What is left in the tank for Sander Aitrem? 2 to go, coming up to 800 meters remaining. And he puts down another 29.5, and so he's found his spot. Can he maintain it for another, now about 600 meters to go? Giotto looking on course for victory. A resurgent Bo Snelling looking like he isn't going to be in there for the silver medal. Barring any grease lightning from Sander Aitrem. 1 to go. 29.81 the lap time. He's dipped to 2 3/4 seconds behind. The mouth is open a little bit. One arm down, now back, both on the back. Aitrem eyeing a second podium of the weekend, trying to hang on for 3rd place. The pain is evident. He just has to do a few more meters. And where will Aitrem finish? He reaches and he goes 6:15.71. That gets him into 3rd place. 3 seconds off the pace, but you saw a quick look with a new track record. Davide Giotto, 6:12.71. And he starts off the season with a bang. Bo Snelling, welcome back with a silver medal, 6:13.99. And Sander Aitrem, the young man, the 22-year-old from Norway, picks up the bronze. Very nice race from him.
After the ice resurfacing and the prize giving ceremony for women's 3,000.
There is the winner, Davide Giotto. I think he's just given us a glimpse of the kind of form he's in. A lot more to come, I have no doubt. There you have it, 6:12.71 new track record. Bo Snelling, 6:13.99. Sander Aitrem, 6:15.71. We are going to take a break. The sprinters come back after the ice resurfacing and the medal presentations for the races that you just saw, the 1,000 meters. Coming up, my name is Gavin Day. Don't go anywhere.
出場者全選手に熱い熱い拍手声援をお願いします。男子 5000m 非常に高いレベルの争いとなりました。これはワールドカップ初戦、来シーズンに東京オリンピックを控えている今年、この記録というのが一つの基準、目安、目標になってきますので、かなりのハイレベルな戦いがこの先予想されます。男子 5000m この先の戦い、ぜひ皆さん注目してください。
Victory ceremony for 3,000 meters swimming. メダルは国際スケート連盟副会長トロン・エスペリより、副賞は長野市長荻原健二より授与されます。The presenters are Mr. Tron Esperi, ISU Vice President for the medals, and Mr. Kenji Ogiwara, Mayor of Nagano City, for the gift. Third place, Joy Bune of Netherlands. Second place, Ragnar Viklund First place, Vanny Blondin of Canada.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
皆様、選手たちにご盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。以上で女子3000メートルの表彰式を終了いたします。
Okay, thanks. Wait, Remy has it. Tyler! Tyler!
I tried one corner. I had this with the reason with the qualifying. I was like, then there's 5 laps to go. I was like, one arm loose.
I try everything the same time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the ice like in summer shows.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so slow, but you need to work a lot.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
It's like on every single, different part. It's like different.
It's not steady.
Yeah.
ただいまより男子 5000m 競技の表彰式を開始いたします。 Victory ceremony for 5000 meters men。 メダルは国際スケート連盟副会長トロン・エスペリより、副賞は長野市長荻原健二より授与されます。 The president will serve Mr. Tron Esperi, ISU Vice President for the medals, and Mr. Kenji Ogiwara, Mayor of Nagano City, for the gift. Third place, Sandal Atrium, Norway. Second place, Bo Snelling of Netherlands. First place, Davide Giotto from Italy. はトラックレコードです。This is 12.71 track record.
Hey, bravo, campeón del mundo.
皆様、お男子たちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。Big round of applause to the medal. 以上で男子 5000m 競技の表彰式を終了いたします。
We are almost 4 minutes before the next competition. Next competition will be the women's 1,000 meters race for Division A skaters.
競技開始4分前、競技開始4分前です。この後行われます競技は女子 1000m です。
2 minutes to the start of the women's 1,000-meter race for Division A skaters. The first pair, Christina Silaeva and Nagano, please get ready.
競技開始2分前、競技開始2分前です。女子 1000m の1組に出場する選手はご準備ください。
Women's 1,000 meters about ready to go. There you go.
Race,
First pair on the ice, Christina Silaeva of Kazakhstan and Li Na-yun of
Christina Silaeva
Korea
of
Republic.
Kazakhstan. And the outer lane is Nakyeon Lee of Korea.
Go to the start.
So Silaeva, the 24-year-old from Kazakhstan, skated in the 500 meters yesterday in the B division, coming out on top of that one. There she is today in the A division in the 1,000 meters. Lee Na-yun out of Seoul. Also might see her. It's possible you'll see her in the mixed relay this weekend. Last season when they held it in Salt Lake City, I think it was only in 2 World Cups last season in the mixed relay. She picked up a bronze medal in that mixed team relay. 1,000 meters, interesting race. It is a sprint, but it's not just all about the power. There's a measure of endurance in it as well. It's all the sprint endurance, so to speak. And at the bell, it is Lee, the teenager, out of Seoul, in front by just under a second, 28.22 the lap time. Someone told me for the 1,000 meters, you don't even really need to pay attention to the lap board when you're skating it because it's just not that long. You know, you do 1 lap, full lap, and then you're around for the bell. And it is going to be Lee Na-yun setting the provisional fastest time, 1:17.63. Silaeva about a second and a half off the pace. Of course, we will be paying attention near the bottom half of the start list. Yuta Leerdam in pair number 9, Miho Takagi in pair number 8, alongside Antoinette Wright-Madiyong. But in the early going, it is that woman right there, Lee Na-yun, in front. Second pair, Ayano Sato, 27-year-old, and Kim Min-sun of Korea.
Sato of Japan. On the outer lane is Min-sun Kim of Korea.
Kim, bronze in the 500 yesterday.
Go to the start. Ready.
Kim has a lot of her best results in the 500 meters, so maybe the 1,000 is a bit too long of a sprint for her, but she has some success in the 1,000 meters, a gold in the 2023 Four Continents Championship. We'll see how the opening 200 meter goes. She is up by about 1/1300ths of a second. Ayano Sato, the veteran from Japan, not far behind. Sato, a week ago, just did the 1,500 meters on Four Continents, coming in 4th, 17th yesterday in the 1,500 meters, so we'll see what kind of endurance that she has. At the moment, it is still Kim Min-sun in front, the 25-year-old, by 0.6 of a second. Sato with the 3rd fastest time right now, and now we'll see what kind of back lap that Kim can put in. Can she maintain this speed? Nearly 0.6 of a second at the bell. Kim, a bronze yesterday in the 500 meters. Can she hang on to this speed and bring it to the line and stay atop the leaderboard? Kim does go fastest. 1:16.72, and Ayano Sato, good second lap from her. That endurance coming in handy. She goes in the green too, but it is behind, of course, Kim Min-sun. And so those two skaters, new 1 and 2 on the leaderboard. Japanese skater on the leaderboard, but that one there is also pretty good. Third pair, Vanessa Herzog, a woman from Innsbruck. Beautiful city in Austria, in the mountains, couple-time Olympic Games, Winter Games host. And Beatrice Lamarche, Canadian, the 26-year-old, on the outer lane.
Go to the start. Ready.
Herzog still trying to regain that form. She does have a silver medal in the 1,000 meters from a world single distances. That was back in 2019. Yesterday, Herzog was 16th in the 500 meters. She finished 21st in the overall 1,000 meter standings last season. 0.02 of a second ahead. Beatrice Lamarche, the Canadian, about 15 hundredths of a second off the pace. Lamarche was 15th, or was 8th in the 1500 yesterday. See how she skates into this one. Herzog now just hanging on by 0.03 of a second. Now on the crossover, we'll see if Herzog gets any pull coming out of the corner. A lot of her success is in the 500 meters, so it is very much a skater with a real punch versus one that maybe has it a little bit of a longer sprint, but Herzog is going to take this pair. Will she remain atop the leaderboard? Yes, just by a tenth of a second. 30.6 lap time, 30.69 rather. And so she goes into first. She ends up putting in the better second lap compared to Lamarche as well. And so 1:16.52, your new top time. The track record, I'll just say, Miho Takagi 1:13.21. That has been in place since February of 2021. Pair Nadezhda Morozova against Natalia Yaburzuk.
In the lane is Nadezhda Morozova of Kazakhstan. On the outer lane is Natalia Yaburzuk of Poland.
Go to the start. Ready.
Clean start. Both these skaters opted to do the 1,500 meters yesterday. Both of them in the B division. Morozova winning the B division. Yaburzuk 9th. And so there is another 500 meters tomorrow, so it is possible they opt to turn things around and do a 500 tomorrow. But the fact that they're both in the 1,500 meters does lend to the thought that maybe they'll be faster finishers than they are starters. There's always that interesting event where you'll see the 500 meter skaters largely go out fast and just try to hang on. And those 1,500 meter, more maybe longer specialists start slow and try to gain as quickly as they can. And so both of them are in the red right now. Both of them lapping just a hair over 28 seconds now. We see what kind of second lap they'll put in. Vanessa Herzog still leading the way, 1:16.52. And it is Morozova coming up the inside, jumping in front ahead of Yaburzuk. It's a very even pair, but it is going to be Morozova going green. 29.63 the lap time, 1:16.38 overall. Yaburzuk going to fourth. So there you have it. That 1,500 meter prowess meant a fast finish indeed.
Introducing
new leader.
skaters of pair number 5.
See how long that lasts. Next pair, Mia Manganello,
Starting from the inner lane
the
is
American,
Mia Manganello of USA.
and Rio Yamada,
On the outer lane
not far from home
is Ryo Yamada of
here
Japan.
in Nagano.
Go to the start. Ready.
Yamada from Suwa in Nagano Prefecture, so she's about 90 minutes from home. You saw that cheering section. A lot of the Japanese skaters these days are from Hokkaido with that Obihito oval. But Yamada very much at home. Manganello, another one of those skaters who's maybe more accustomed to longer distances. It's Yamada off first. We'll see how Manganello finishes. Manganello was 6th in the B division 1500 meter yesterday. Yamada 13th in the 500 meters. So two different contrasting skaters. The pure sprinter against one with a little bit more endurance. I expect Manganello will see action in the mass start tomorrow as well. Now Yamada almost 9/10 of a second to the good. Let's see how she can hang on. She was 8th or 7th in the 1000 meter World Cup overall standings last season. 8th in the 500. So now the battle to hang on for Yamada begins. Staying upright, keeps the arms going, keeps the legs going. Is Ryo Yamada. She will take the pair. Will she stay atop the leaderboard? Yes, hanging on by just over 2/10 of a second. Manganello with the faster second lap. Yamada does well to hang on. I'm sure there's plenty of family and friends there. You saw a big cheering section.
1分17秒90山田リオ日本1分16秒15以上です。
山田選手、トップに上がってくれました。
There is a look at Miho Takagi. Next pair though, 6th pair, Hanmei, already a podium this weekend.
Starting from the inner lane is Mei Han of China.
And then Greta Myers, I just saw her not too long ago in the women's 3,000 meters. Here she is back for more.
Go to the start. Ready.
Both of these skaters, expect them to maybe not have the quickest of starts and finish strongly. Han silver yesterday in the 1500 meters, 26-year-old, and Greta Myers was 19th in the 1500, and you also just saw her a moment ago, a little bit ago in the 3000 meters. She was 14th there. The openers, Han, not a bad start. Couple hundredths of a second off the pace. That bodes well for her if she's a better finisher. The big arm swing from Myers there. Goes way up. I haven't seen anyone go that high up before. And Han now losing a bit of time, just about a quarter of a second off the pace. Myers lapping a little bit under a second off her. What does Hanmei have left in the tank? At the moment, Ryo Yamada 1:13.92. Han already on the podium this weekend, trying to make it 2. And she goes fastest by just under 6/10 of a second. Again, a strong finish. 29.41. Myers goes 11th with a 1:17.98.
Finishing time for Greta Myers of USA is 1 minute 17.98.
ただいまの結果、ハンバイ中国1分15秒58、グレタマイヤーズアメリカ1分17秒98以上です。
ハン選手、凄まじい泳ぎでトップに立ちました。じゃあ拍手お願いいたします。
Hanmei now will watch the changes. This is already at pair number 7. There's Brittany Bowe. She goes in pair number 9. Another one to watch, the great American. Angel Dahlman.
Introducing skaters
Another one, the
competing
youngster.
in race 7.
And certainly an interesting pair here too. Suzanne
Starting from the
Schulting
middle lane is Suzanne Schulting of Netherlands.
deciding to give long track a try.
On
And the
the
woman who
outer lane
just won the
is
3,000
Amelie
meters.
Blondin of Canada.
Ebony Blondin, quick stop to get a medal. Now back out on the ice.
Go to the start. Ready.
And Schulting, who said she fractured her ankle. For those of you who don't watch short track, Suzanne Schulting fractured her ankle in Rotterdam at the World Championships last year. She's been working her way back to that, but the tight cornering, her ankle still can't handle that tight cornering, so she is aiming to be back on short track this year. There she is also doing long track on the oval. And not a bad opener, just under a quarter of a second faster than Han Mei. We do know that Han finished quickly. Schulting personal best 1:13.97. Blondin ticking a bit behind her. And Schulting a half a second faster. Blondin about 4/10 of a second off that last lap. It'll be interesting to see if Schulting opts to go for mass start, given her abilities to skate in a pack. Nice to see her back on any ice. Most of us are used to seeing her in short track. We'll see if she can go atop the leaderboard here. Suzanne Schulting, bit of a wobble, loses some speed and loses time in the end, and slips to second. Not sure if she could maintain that pace. It was 1:15.89. Does slip to second. Blondin closed right up there at the end. So it's Schulting in second, Blondin to fourth right now. And Han Mei inches closer to perhaps another podium, but some big pairs still to come. And including this woman, Miho Takagi.
Introducing the skaters
Really
competing in
reads
the
no
big pair.
introduction.
Starting from the inner lane is Miho Takagi of Japan. On the outer lane is
Infinite
Antoinette
Raipma bronze in the world
of
all-arounds
Netherlands.
last year.
Go to the start. Ready.
Down and away, the world champion at 1,000 meters on the inner lane. She's also the track record holder here in Nagano. 1:13.21 is her current track record. We'll see if she challenges that today. She's been tough to beat, and she is almost half a second to the good. Raipma de Jong, about 0.03 of a second off the current fastest time through 200 meters, but it's only the 8th fastest overall. Raipma de Jong coming up on the inside now. Takagi at the bell, leading the way. 0.9 of a second clear as Raipma de Jong dips into the red. Miho Takagi, is she on pace for yet another medal? The woman from Makubetsu on Hokkaido, a small town southeast of Obihiro. She's 30 years old now. Coming around on on the inside. Takagi already gold in the 1500 meters this weekend, aiming for the 1000. She goes fastest, 1:14.60. Retma de Jong, 1:15.88. Just over 3/10 of a second back. Good enough for third at the moment.
ただいまの結果、高木美帆日本1分14秒60、アントワネット・ライフマイ・デヨングオランダ1分15秒88。
So, assuming her position atop the leaderboard as usual. And we shall see how long it holds up. Good challenge coming up in the next one. 3-time world champion in the 1,000 meters, Brittany Bowe. 2-time world champion in the 1,000 meters, Jutta Leerdam. And we don't have to wait long for it, fortunately. Leerdam also has the fastest 1,000-meter time in the world for women.
Starting from the other lane is Jutta Leerdam of Netherlands.
Go to the start. Ready.
Leerdam's fastest time on board, 1:13.72. That was set earlier this month. That was at the Dutch qualifying tournament. And a very even opening. Both of them in the red, though, about 0.15 of a second off the pace, 1/100th of a second separating them. Cornering so important in the 1,000 meters. Because if you lose time going around a corner, you just don't have enough time to really regain much speed. So an event where you're just trying to maintain your speed, you cannot afford a big drop-off. It's Leerdam in front right now. As she gets the bell, she's in the green by 0.07 of a second. 27.2 the lap time. Might she take one over Miho Takagi, the evergreen rival? She just takes such long strides. Does Jutta Leerdam. Brittany Bowe, quicker turnover coming around the turn. Leerdam was 7th in the 500 meters yesterday. Can she go top? No, she slips to second. By 0.36 of a second, Bowe does go to third. It was Bowe who had the faster lap. That's a smile from Takagi. That's a challenge survived. And there is one pair still to go. So maybe the biggest challenge, maybe the biggest test, Kimmy Getz is certainly one in the United States who can get right up there. She has the second fastest time in the world this season. But Bowe hanging on for third right now, the great U.S. veteran.
The 10th and the final pair.
And it's Angel Dahlman against Kimmy Getz. Dahlman, we saw her on short track earlier this year in Montreal. Former world junior champion on long track.
On the other lane is Kimmy Gates of USA.
And Kimmy Getz, the 30-year-old from New Jersey. Off the podium yesterday in the 500 meters. But certainly capable of throwing down here.
Go to the start. Ready.
Getz, who has World Cup victories in the 1,000 meters, picked one up in Salt Lake City last season, second overall in the 1,000-meter World Cup standings. Dahlman is, of course, a member of those Dutch Lions, as I was talking about. It'd be interesting to see if she is back. Of course, she could just stay in Beijing after next weekend's World Cup. But with a mercurial talent like that, you don't want to overload. She has a long way ahead of her. See where she ends up excelling the most. It's both of the skaters were in the red through the opening 200 meters. What kind of lap had they skated? It is Getz in front right now. She has some work to do. 42 hundredths of a second off the pace set by Miho Takagi. She was a hair faster than Dahlman through that opening lap. Getz, we do know, also has some endurance with some good 1,500 meter skills. But Getz really has to close up. It's tough to find any time on a skater like Miho Takagi. Dahlman coming up on the inside. They're side by side. It might be Dahlman by a bit. No, it's going to be Dahlman taking it, and she goes fourth. Gets to fifth, and so, once again, the second time this weekend, and a whole lot more over the course of her career, Miho Takagi tops the podium in the 1,000 meters. And it will be Yuta Leerdam going in second, and Brittany Bowe, another medal on the pile for the American, picking up the bronze in the women's 1,000 meters. So Dahlman, good fight back from her, taking the pair. She's still just 17 years old. Already getting plenty of experience in both short track and here on the oval at the very, very top level. How often do you get the last pair? But it's another victory lap for Miho Takagi.
At 3:47. Next race will start at 3:47.
And so you'll hear it. We get a little tiny break before the men's 1,000 meters. We'll get quickly turned around and reset. Back with you in just a few minutes.
We're 5 minutes away from the next competition, men's 1,000 meter race.
競技開始5分前です。この後行われます競技は男子 1000m です。
In 2 minutes, we'll be returning to competition, once again with men's 1,000 meters for Division A skaters. The first pair, please get ready.
競技開始2分前です。男子 1000m 1組に出場する選手はご注意ください。
Time for the men's 1,000 meters. Start list there. There are 10 pairs. No individuals, so just all. We have 2 skaters. 20 skaters in all ending. You might want to look at pair number 9. Can Jordan Stolz go 3 for 3 to start off the season on World Cup? Last weekend he went 3 for 3 on 4 continents. And could he maybe go a season without losing an entire race? Long way to go, obviously. And here we go. First up, Stefan Emmele of Germany. And Kjeld Nice
of Germany.
Of the Netherlands. Great Dutch
On the
veteran.
other lane is Kjeld Nice of Netherlands.
Go to the start. Ready.
男子 1000m 1組がスタートしました。インナーレーンからはステファン・エメレドイツ、アウターレーンからは
Nice yesterday, going 4th in the 1,500 meters. Emmele going in 11th. So maybe more accustomed for both of these skaters to peak near the end of the race. It's Nice going faster. 16.9 through 200 meters. Nice did also do the World Sprints last season at the end of the year. And as expected, it's the man from the Netherlands in front. 35-year-old veteran. Going 25.05 that last lap time. He has about a second's lead on Stefan Emmele, 28-year-old, now living and training in Erfurt. And it is Kjeld Nice. Looks like he will set the fastest time, and he goes 1:08.63.
Finishing time for Stefan Emmele of Germany is 1 minute 10.06.
And Emmele goes 1:10.06. Point out. Track record 1:08.33. That's set by Tatsuya Shinama. And he actually did that the end of October, not too long ago. He goes in pair number 8. And we'll see if that track record also comes under threat by Jordan Stolz, the man who's leaving records everywhere in his wake. There he is. Speak of the devil.
Introducing the skaters competing in race 2. Starting from the inner lane is Issa Gunji of Japan. On the outer lane is David Boza of Italy.
Oh yes, I forgot about David Boza. Always waiting until the last second to drop the sunglasses down. That's always how I remembered him, the 32-year-old from Italy against Issa Gunji of Japan.
Ready.
Definite contrast here. And his 30s against the teenager from Japan. Bosa had some popped up for the occasional result last year. Bronze in the 1,000 meters at the World Cup in Salt Lake City. And it's Gunji out to a flyer, 0.4 of a second to the good, 16.5. The opening 200 meters. Bosa also in the green, but it is Gunji right in front right now. And at the bell, both of them now dip into the red, and so not able to maintain that speed. It's Bosa, who really is a 500 meter, 1,000 meter specialist. Don't expect him to finish strong, but expect him to just try to hang on. We'll see how he finishes. Both of them with a lot of work to do to try to get back at Kjeldnæs. And it is Gunji who's back in front. No, it's Bosa. It's Gunji who takes it. It's tied. Oh. Now they'll have to go to the 1,000th of a second to see who actually wins. And do they have those cameras over from short track yet? Since they're in the pair, we can see if we can actually get a photo finish on the line. Let's see, is there a low angle? And you can't really tell from there. See. Do they tie? They still have them both for third right now, so maybe it is down to the 1,000th. Anyway. Next pair, Masaya Yamada.
Masaya Yamada of Japan.
And Peter Kongshaug, we saw him earlier.
Is Peter Kongshaug of Norway.
Go to the start. Ready.
Safely away. Masaya Yamada is the older of the Yamada brothers. Kazuya, also a speed skater. And he leads through 200 meters. He is in the green by 11/100th of a second. Bit of a slower start for Peter Kongshaug, but considering we just saw him in the 5,000 meters, I would imagine he would be a bit of a faster finisher. Don't count out Yamada's finish as well. He finished 6th in the 1,000 on 4 continents last week, but does skate some 1500s as well. Now he dips into the red. As I say that, he goes into the red, and really says a lot about the kind of back half Kjeldnæs had. A lot of people are in the green early on, but they fade quickly. It is Masaya Yamada coming to the line. He'll take the pair, but he will be second fastest. Almost 9/10 of a second off the pace. Kongshaug goes to third, 109.70. Still first place. Kjeldnæs.
1分09秒09秒48フェデルコンクスハウノルウェー1分09秒70以上です。
So second place for the moment. Quality skaters still to come. Next pair as Damian Zurek of Poland. Certainly a man with a lot of horsepower, bronze medalist in the 500 meters, the World Championships in Calgary. And Moritz Klein, the 24-year-old German behind him.
On the outer lane is Moritz Klein of Germany.
Go to the start.
Zurich also 7th in the 1,000 meters at those same world single distances. He did do the 500 meters yesterday, finishing in 13th place. Moritz Klein also did the 500 on day one, coming in 19th in the B division. Of course, there is another 500 meters to go tomorrow. Now, Zurich does have the fast opening here. It's just a matter of maintaining it. We've seen other skaters go out quickly and fall by the wayside, as Kjeld Nice's time has held up. And there is the bell. We'll see if he's still in the green by just under a quarter of a second. Klein has slipped behind. And Zurich with a 25.17 lap time. He's going to get a bit of a draft nicely to pull him on a little bit as he gets into the inside lane to finish. Zurich, the battle now is just to hang on. And he's maybe more of a 500-meter specialist, now visibly fading, and it's going to be Klein who comes up with the faster lap and take the pair. He goes second now, 109.39. Good lap from him, a whole second faster than Zurich, who faded to fifth. So nice finish from Moritz Klein. Another guy who's maybe more of a 500,000 meter kind of guy. Does do the occasional 1,500 as well. A good race from him.
Introducing skaters competing in race 5.
And this one might be interesting. Ryota Kojima and Laurent Dubreuil.
Ryota Kojima of Japan.
Dubreuil, always interesting to see him in these middle pairs, considering he can really throw down a 1,000-meter time.
Ready.
Kojima did double duty yesterday. 13th in the 1,500 meters, 19th in the 500. Dubreuil, of course, jumping back onto the podium with a silver medal. A man who's equally potent in the 500 and the 1,000. Dubreuil almost 0.6 of a second to the good fastest opener of all. Kojima, 4th fastest, but it is still faster than Kjeld Nice's time. Dubreuil, bronze in the 4 continents last weekend. Already on the podium once this weekend, trying to make it 2 in 2. Is he going to be another one who falls by the wayside? No, he adds to his time. These two men, 1 and 2 at the moment. Dubreuil has almost 0.7 of a second to work with. He's trying to hang on. Kojima coming really into this race. He also gets the inside lane coming down to the end. Dubreuil scrapping to hang on. Here comes Kojima. It's going to be Kojima in front right now. Is it going to be him at the line? It is! By 0.08 of a second, Ryota Kojima goes up to first. Dubreuil slips to third, dropping 0.4 of a second on the last lap to Kojima. And it's the man from the home nation jumping atop the leaderboard. Good skate for Kojima. He was 13th in the 1,500, but might that extra little bit of endurance from that race yesterday helped him to the finish in the 1,000 meters. Won't be another medal for Dubreuil today.
Introducing skaters competing in
And
ring
it's
pair
an
number 6.
all USA pair. Cooper
Starting
McLeod
in the lane is Cooper McLeod of
and
USA.
Zach Stoppelmoor.
On the outer lane is Zach Stoppelmoor of USA.
Go to the start. Ready.
Stoppelmoor, another skater who does 500s and thousands. So I expect him to potentially put down a fast start as well. Stoppelmoor 5th in the 1,000 a week ago on 4 continents. His teammate, Cooper McLeod, also a guy who does 500s and thousands, and it's McLeod with the faster opener. He's in the green by 11 hundredths of a second, so he's the fastest time overall. Second fastest time overall, but he's faster than Ryota Kojima, who has the fastest time overall at the line. With 400 to go, McLeod still in the green, but only just. Stoppelmoor was a 1/10 of a second slower that lap. Now we know Kojima finished very well. That's a good draft down the back stretch. McLeod staying as far out wide behind Stoppelmoor as long as he can. He's now on the inner lane. McLeod pulling away from this one. It will be Cooper McLeod. Can he finish in first at the line? Yes, by 900ths of a second. 1:08.45. And a fist pump from him. So it is an American skater atop the leaderboard right now. But there is still a long way to go in a relatively short period of time. But McLeod goes to first, 1:08.43, the time to beat. And he's still sitting in third place.
Introducing skaters competing in pair number 7.
And very strong skaters in the next one. Ning
Starting from
Zhongyang
in the lane is Zhongyang Ning of
China.
China.
And Taiyo Nonomura.
And on the outer lane is Taiyo Nonomura of Japan.
23 years old.
Go to the start. Ready.
Ning, world sprint champion overall last season, but he also a silver medalist in the 1,000 meters, 4 continents silver just a week ago in the 1,500s. So expect some pretty good endurance from Ning. It's Nonomura with the faster opening. Expecting Ning to just maintain his speed better than a lot of skaters. He was bronze yesterday in the 1,500 meters, so he does have endurance as well. He's not just about knockdown, drag-out speed that we see from others, like maybe Tatsuya Shinama in the next pair, almost side by side. Ning does have some work to do. Faster of the two at the moment by a couple hundredths of a second, but he's about 4/10 of a second off the pace. It is still Cooper McLeod leading, a 1:08.43. If he can survive this challenge, that's a big one for him. But Ning will bring the pair to the line. Standing up at the finish, it's almost as if he knew he wasn't going to have it. 1/4 of a second off the pace, a 1:08.70. But often you see the reach at the line. He stood up with a couple meters left to go, almost as if he knew it wasn't his day today. Bit of a hand down there. Wonder how much speed that cost him. And we all know who that guy is. You're always looking for a favorite in pretty much any race. It's him. Next up, though, potent sprinter Tatsuya Shinama on the inner lane. Already a medal this weekend.
Starting from the inner lane is Tatsuya Shinama of Japan. Then on the outer lane is Martin Lee of Estonia.
Go to the start. Ready.
Shinama, absolute monster of power. Really throws it down in the 500. Silver last weekend in the Four Continents behind Stoles. So we know he can maintain it as well. Leave is in the green through 200 meters. The man who lives in Heerenveen from a small town in Estonia of about 5,000 people. Has popped up occasionally for some good results. I always love to see people from different countries adding to the international feel of speed skating, and it is still Leave in front. Just about 6/100ths of a second off the pace. Shinama has some work to do. Just over 3/10ths of a second off the pace set by Cooper McLeod. That American time really holding up now with just a couple pairs to go. And it is Leave still in front. He is going to take the pair. It is not Shinhama's day, and it's going to be Leave going to third by 16/100ths of a second. Nice skate by Martin Leave to go up to third. He was 7th in the 1,000 meters at the last Olympics. 4th in the 1,000 at the European Championships. So Leave provisionally climbing onto the podium. He was 2nd in the B division in 500 yesterday. And, well, let's just watch this one unfold. Yenning DeBow is certainly a very good 400, 500 meter skater. Young man as well. Maybe a glimpse at the future. A pair of 20 years old.
And on the outer lane is Jordan Stolz of USA.
Go to the start.
And that man going trying to go 3 for 3.
Ready.
Both away clean. They are chasing currently an American time. Cooper McLeod. So Stoles will have to beat one of his teammates to get up there. DeBow 4th yesterday in the 500 meters. Stoles 1 and 1. Both of them in the green in the early going. Stoles with the 16.29. And he'll get a chance to chase Yenning DeBow down the back stretch. Cornering. Crucial in the 1,000 meters. Once you lose a bit of speed on a corner, there's very limited time you can get it back. And it is Stoles in front. He just looks so smooth, and he has half a second to work with. This is sensational. Again, by Jordan Stoles. 108.33 is the current track record. And we are very close to that. Stoles could be adding yet another track record. He's on pace, certainly. He is inside 100 meters. Jordan Stoles coming to the line and goes fastest again. 107.18 by 1 1/4 seconds in 1,000 meters. And it's another track record. He's absolutely smashed it. Yenning DeBow's time also would have beaten the previous track record, but it's just not even close. 107.18 by more than a second. And Shinhama's track record lasts less than a month in Nagano at the M-Wave. Now it's up to everybody else to try to break his chance of going 3 for 3 again. I'm saying it out loud. Might you wonder if he does 3 races in every World Cup this season. Could he win all of them? I'll just leave that in the air, the final pair. Tim Prince and Connor Howe.
Starting from the inner lane is Tim Prince of Netherlands. And the outer lane is
Canadian.
Connor Howe of Canada.
Go to the start. Ready.
Connor Howe, perhaps more suited to the 1500 meters. He was 8th there yesterday. So if he can get a decent start, he is in line for a solid finish. Prinz yesterday skated in the 1500 meter B race, B division race. He finished in 2nd behind Kim Min-suk of Hungary. And it's certainly a slow start by these two. Stoll's certainly going to feel very confident. It is Prinz in front right now. He does have a personal best of 106.40. And he is nearly 3/4 of a second. 3/4 of a second off the pace. Connor Howe almost 2 seconds off the pace. Prinz, if he can finish strong, it's not going to be a bad result for him, but it's just everybody is just in the dust of Jordan Stolz right now. Nobody can even come close to the American. Prinz, how close can he get? He will go 7th, 108.70. And Jordan Stolz, again, in his office, on the ice, and atop the podium on World Cup. It's the first event of the year, and we are we're already speechless. We have no words to say just how good Jordan Stolz can be. He's 20. He has a target on his back. He knows that, but nobody is coming even close to the man from Wisconsin. And he said last year he took some races off on World Cup. He says that's not in the plan this year. And he has another track record. And hey, a good day for the Stars and Stripes in the men's 1,000 meters. Cooper McLeod hanging on for 3rd place. Jenning de Boe of the Netherlands in 2nd. But just how many records is Jordan Stolz going to have? Every track he races on these days, he's throwing down track records. The skater of a generation. And I have to gonna have to go back to my thesaurus to see what else I can come up to describe that young man. Tim Prince, not that young man. He did a good race too. Winning the pair, going 8th. Not a bad result for him. Actually tying for 7th. But Ning Zhongyan was faster to the 1,000th of a second. And yeah, another TR, another record belonging to Jordan Stolz of the United States. Jenning de Boe in 2nd. Cooper McLeod jumping up onto the podium for a bronze medal. A good day for the Americans, with Brittany Bowe also back on the podium in the women's 1,000 meters. Cooper McLeod, if I'm not mistaken, I'll just confirm it one moment. Is that his first individual World Cup medal? Yes, it is. All his others have been in the team sprint. So Cooper McLeod on the podium for the first time in an individual distance. I'm going to pause to give out some medals, and I'll be back to sign things off on day 2 in Nagano.
女子 1000m 競技の表彰式を開始いたします。 Victory ceremony for 1000 meters women。 メダルは国際スケート連盟副会長トロン・エスペリより、副賞は公益財団法人日本スケート連盟副会長浜野勉より授与されます。 The presenters are Mr. Tron Esperi, ISU Vice President for the medals, and Mr. Tsutomu Hamano, JSF Vice President for the gift. Third place, Brittany Bowe of USA.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second place, Utah Levin of Netherlands.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
First place, Miho Takagi of Japan.
My dad. Right in front of the Japanese.
Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah.
Also, I saw your Instagram.
Oh yeah. Then eating the noodle.
Victory ceremony for 1000 meters men。 メダルは国際スケート連盟副会長トロン・エスペリより、副賞は公益財団法人日本スケート連盟副会長浜野勉より授与されます。 The presenters are Mr. Tron Esperi, ISU Vice President for the medals, and Mr. Tsutomu Hamano, JSF Vice President for the gift. Third place, Cooper Muckle, USA. Second place, Yenin de Boer First place, Jordan Stoltz of USA. 1分07秒18はトラックレコードです。1 minute 07.18 is the track record. 皆様、メダリストたちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。
Another race, another gold medal, another track record for Jordan Stolz. And Stolz and Takagi are really the stories of the early season. It's going to take a superhuman effort just to beat them. What a day it has been. Best of the best. Some surprises as well, perhaps, but another day of great speed skating. It's nice that the World Cup is back this first weekend of the season in Nagano. Look back at the race that was Cooper McLeod. Good race from him. Good day for the Americans. A gold and 2 bronze medals. And that's it for day 2. Tomorrow, Patrick Keenis will guide you through the day. Team pursuits, 500 meters, mass starts, and the mixed gender relay. So I'll sign off from now. Always a pleasure. My name is Gavin Day. Talk to you again later on this season. Lots more World Cup speed skating to come. Goodbye.